Alrighty, so I'm just going to cover some logistics as everyone gets settled in. My name is Lisa Swain, and I'm the Director of Customer Experience here at Teamzy. So more than anything else, you want to consider me a resource for you. So if you're thinking at the end of tonight's call, I'm not tech savvy, or you know what, I'd really like to just have some hands-on help, please feel free to reach out to me directly. I'm going to share my contact information so that you do have a point of contact if at any point along the way you do need to reach out for some help. Okay, so stay tuned. After my presentation, I will share that direct contact information. So I am recording tonight's session, so for any of your colleagues, peers, team members who weren't able to join us live, not to worry, I will send out a replay link about 24 hours after we air here tonight. So keep an eye out, you'll get that by email, and so will anyone who wasn't able to make it live. Alrighty, so here's what I actually have planned for this evening. First, I want to start with setup. So we're going to start by talking about everything that you're going to encounter when you're going through setup. So even if you're thinking, I already jumped into the system, I started this process, stick with me because I may give you a few tips or kind of highlight for you a feature or two that you didn't know existed. So we're going to go through setup. After we complete setup, we're going to jump into your power hours. How you can really maximize on the hour, the 2 hours, 30 minutes sometimes that you might have to devote to your business every day. So I'm going to show you what features you should definitely be maximizing on as you're getting in there and connecting with people. And then last but not least, I'm going to talk about follow-ups, but following up like a pro with Teamzy. So until now, I'm sure many of you are using third-party apps or your own Excel spreadsheet. What I want to show you today is how all of that lives in one system, how you can in fact manage all of your clients, how you can in fact connect with everyone, manage your follow-ups in one system, okay? So that's what I've got planned. We're recording and we're ready to jump in. So this is the perfect time to get started. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen with you. Stick with me, okay? After I cover those three main topics, I'm gonna open up the floor to questions you might have. So if you've encountered something specific or you're thinking, you know, this is how it looks in my system and I just wanna make sure I've got it right, stick with me and you can ask that question directly and I'll answer for you in real time. All right, so let's jump in. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen with you now. Now, okay, so you should have my Teamzy dashboard on your screen. What I want to start by saying is that if you have not already taken advantage of a free 30-day trial of Teamzy, make that your next step, okay? No credit card necessary. You're just going to jump in and really get to start using the system so that you can find out if it's right for you long term, okay? So first step, free 30-day trial. No credit card necessary. Okay, once you're ready to kind of get set up and start bringing in your contacts and actually setting up the back end of your system, what you want to do is actually navigate to what's known as our setup wizard. If it's your first day, if it's day one for you in Teamzy, you're just going to actually land right on that page, so you don't have to worry about it. But if you've been clicking around the system, maybe familiarizing yourself a little, not to worry, you can get back to that setup wizard in the upper right-hand corner of your screen. So we're going to select that little wheel icon, and we're going to come down to Setup Wizard. Okay, from there, the system is going to redirect us to our 3-step setup process. So we're going to keep this as painless as possible for you. Step 1, we're going to create an income goal. Many of you know or have heard, okay, that Teamzy is a tracking system. It's an organizational app. Teamzy is that and so much more. But at its core, Teamzy is a lead generation system, or a system that initiates inquiry or interest into the products and services that you offer. So we've built in different features, different tools that will help you focus on this, on generating new leads, on growing your team in a more intentional fashion, okay? So step 1, we're going to create an income goal. This simply sets our eyes on the prize. This is exactly what we'd like to achieve over the next 12 months, okay? So you want to consider that initial income goal to be a 12-month goal, and we'll talk about each of these in a minute. So step 2, we're going to create our powerful why statement. I'm talking to Beachbody coaches, so I know I'm in the right group. You are all very familiar with a powerful why. and truthfully, how powerful a tool it can be. So we built it right into your Teamzy. This is going to be a great way so that if you're having challenging days, or if you've just been met with lots of difficulties and you're thinking, why am I doing this? Why should I get up and come back for seconds tomorrow? Your powerful why statement ends up being almost a reminder in your own voice of why you got in this business, why you should be persevering through this challenging moment. So step 2, Teamzy is going to help you create a decisive why statement that you're going to be able to reference as a tool, like I said, as you're moving through this business. Okay, so step 3, we are going to import our contacts. I know, the meat of setup, right? Deep breath with me. I promise we're going to keep it as painless as possible, and I'm going to have some different tips for you, so definitely make sure you've got a pen and pad when we get to the 3rd step in the process. All right, so come along with me. Let's take a look at how that unfolds. Step 1, we are creating our income goal in Teamzy. I mentioned a moment ago, you're going to set this up on a 12-month basis, okay? So how much do I want to make over the next 12 months? The one thing I want to say here, folks, this is not, I repeat, not simply a pretty placeholder, okay? This is not something that you'll glance over at from time to time in Teamzy and it'll give you the warm and fuzzies. No. Teamzy is all about intentional action. So what we are going to do is utilize your income goal to crunch the number of highly productive activities you need to complete every day, every week, every month, and ultimately every year in order to stay on track with this income goal. So what does that mean? If I put in $100,000 here, Teamzy is going to use that number, and it's now going to calculate for me how many people I need to connect with, and who and when. So come along and let's see how Teamzy breaks down that number. All right, $100,000. Teamzy lets me know, okay, Jay, you want to make $100,000 over the next 12 months. You need to connect 2,899 times. Okay, might seem like a lot, but really, at that first stage, when Teamzy takes the first swing at breaking down your productive goals for the day, I want you to consider right now how many people you already connect with on a daily basis. Okay, got that ballpark number? Great. Now figure it on a weekly basis. Okay, still with me? Great. How about monthly? If you were to consider how many people you are already connecting with, okay, some would say unintentionally, okay, how many people you're already connecting with on a daily basis, let alone weekly, and maybe even monthly or annually, the number would be staggering. We are simply setting your eyes on the prize. You are getting intentional or systematic in your approach to your business. So, $100,000, Jay, you've got to make 2,899 connections. Well, come along with us. Let's see how Teamzy breaks that down into what I like to call bite-sized chunks. Okay, so yes, Teamzy let me know 2,899 connections over the next 12 months. But really, what does that look like today? What do I need to do on a daily basis in order to stay on track? Well, 2,899 connections really only breaks down to about 6 connections to my prospects, 4 to my customers, and 3 to my existing coaches. Now that I can do. That is a feasible step in the right direction. So this is what Teamzy is doing. It's taking a large goal, something that seems really far off, and it's giving you an actual milestone, an achievable milestone that you need to hit every day, every week, every month, and eventually every year in order to stay on track with your goals. So what I like to say here is this is a recommendation, okay? Teamzy has broken down for you the baseline. So this is the immediate, what you need to do immediately in order to stay on track with your goals. But let's say you're thinking, well, Jay, I connect with that many people before lunch. You're awesome. You know who you are, okay? You're fantastic. Keep up the good work and challenge yourself at this stage. So we understand that no two of you are at the same stage in this business. So consider your dynamic. What could I do in my day-to-day? Could I challenge myself a little bit? So consider we've given you your recommendation. If you're thinking, oh, you know what, I'll blow through that by lunch, fantastic. Then you can click right in this field and say, I want to do 10 prospect connections and 5 customers and so on. Again, you can customize or challenge yourself or go for your stretch goal or whatever the case may be for you. You may also find yourself at the beginning of all of this. Welcome, brand new Beachbody coaches, if we have any on the call. That's exciting, okay? But you might be thinking to yourself, Jay, I don't have customers and coaches yet. That's all right. It's a temporary status that will change, okay? What you want to do in this case is you want to just redistribute your goals. So this is how I would do it. Pardon me. If Teamzy has suggested that I make 6 connections to my prospects, 4 to my customers, and 3 to my coaches, then what I would do is basically say, you know what, I don't have customers or coaches, so I'm going to take the 7 from here. I'll make this one 0, or you can make it 1 or 2, depending on what would be realistic for the size of your current team. And then I would redistribute those 7 over into the prospect pool, because if I spend more time pouring into my prospects, they're going to convert into customers and then into coaches. That's just how this works. Okay? So this concept here is basically just that you can customize your goals based on the dynamic of, based on your dynamic and the dynamic of your team. So let's say I want to accept the connection goal because you know what? I think that's going to be totally feasible. I can connect with that many people every day, no problem. Oops. Okay. So what I would recommend here is that you also take a look at your daily invite and your daily additions goal. So in addition to connections every day, you are also going to have intentional activities that get you a little bit closer to your goals. For example, every time you invite someone to join you for an event, to try a product, to join you for a challenge group, free group, whatever the case may be, anything that that calls the person to action, right? They've got to join you for that event, or they've got to participate in your challenge group. That gets them a little bit closer to trying the products or taking that leap of faith and getting involved in the business opportunity. So this is what Teamzy has done. It's giving you your connection goal every day, but then it's also taken a look at the intentional activities that need to go with the connections. Like, are you calling people to action that you're working with? Are you intentionally inviting them to participate, to get involved? So that's going to be your daily invite goal. You will also have a daily additions goal because at the beginning of all of this, I explained that Teamzy is a lead generation system. So here is one of those very obvious features that we built in there for you to pursue your lead generation efforts. You're simply going to keep your eyes on that prize. Have I met anyone new today? Did I introduce anyone brand new to the products and services that I offer? Did I accept any new friend requests? Meet anyone brand new in the PTA or drop-off line? These everyday occurrences are how you're going to build your internal database, in turn creating potential for customers and for coaches. So every day, Teamzy is going to challenge you to connect with people that already exist in your database, and it's going to challenge you to send invites or intentional calls to action. It will also challenge you to introduce new people, bring new people into your database so you're constantly growing your team. Okay, so that's going to be the goal breakdown here, okay? I did see something jump in the chat, guys. I'm going to quickly monitor that, but like I said, we're going to go ahead and keep question and answer for after my presentation, so stick with me, okay? So we'll hit continue here when we are satisfied with our goals, and it's going to move us through to the second step in the process, which is finding that powerful why statement. You can always watch any video on each of these pages in the setup wizard. It basically just takes you through what I'm talking about live. So we'll hit continue, and Teamzy is going to take us to the actual exercise for setting up your why statement. So if you've never created one, if you're new to the business, if you're thinking, I'm just not overly creative or I don't know what to say, this exercise, pardon me, this exercise is really great at kind of pulling it out of you. So just answer a question at a time, okay? Why did you become a coach? Well, for me in the beginning, it wasn't overly deep. My coach said I could make an extra $500 a month. And I thought, well, okay. What did I hope to accomplish? A savings account? That seemed like a good place to start. Why was that important to me? Oh, well, I had just married a Marine straight out of college. We were looking at that military life with all of the exciting income opportunities. Said no one ever. So I thought to myself, financial freedom, a community of my own. It started to take shape. The real reason why I was stepping up to the plate, why I wanted to make this commitment, started to take shape. So if you're thinking, oh, I'm not this creative person who's going to have something that's, like transcendent and going to change my life, you would be surprised. You want this to be in your own voice, okay? Sometimes it's going to be a whisper at the end of the night and you need to believe it. So go ahead and give in to that exercise if you've never done it before. My one tip here, if you're thinking to yourself, Jay, I've done the exercise, I answered all of the questions above, but my why statement isn't on my dashboard. Okay, so what you want to do is head back to this section. What may be happening is that you've got answers here, all of the answers above, but this bottom field where you see my why is empty. So what you want to do is basically copy and paste the answers to the fields above in that bottom paragraph. Hit continue and you're on to the next step. Alrighty, so I'm going to hit continue here. I'm going to check on the chat area really quickly just to make sure we're not having a connection issue. Okay, so we are on to the third step in the setup process, which is basically going to be importing those contacts. So I know this is going to be the part where people have tons of questions and they're thinking, I want to make sure I'm doing this correctly. Don't worry. If nothing else, okay, if you're thinking you get to a screen that doesn't look right, or this isn't how Jay said it would look, please pick up the phone and give me a call or send me a text message or shoot me an email. I don't want you to continue to hit that wall going 90, okay? Pick up the phone and I'd be happy to help. I live, eat, and breathe this stuff. I know, it's super weird, but I do. Okay, so back to importing. We know here at Teamzy that you've got lists all over the place, right? You've got one in Facebook, you've got your back office files, you've got your custom spreadsheet that you created that's got every single note you've ever sent them and color coding and the whole nine. Not to worry. Teamzy has been designed for this exactly. We are going to help you sort of consolidate your list down or scrub down your duplicates and create a master list so that you can start connecting with everyone without people falling through the cracks, okay? All right, so once we've got you in and you're ready to import, I want you to consider the order in which you import, okay? So what we'll do here is I'm going to start by going over the order in which you should import your files into Teamzy. So we're going to start with your customers and your coaches from your Beachbody back office. Customers and coaches from your Beachbody back office. The video on this page here will actually walk you through that step by step. Once you brought in your customers and your coaches from your Beachbody back office, I want you to then focus on any custom spreadsheets that you may have created, okay? You know, the ones that I mentioned with the color coding and every single column, 101, and every which note you've ever sent them. That's fantastic. You have spent a lot of time collecting that information, so let's bring it into the system. So, customers and coaches, then you're going to bring in your custom spreadsheets. After your custom spreadsheets, I want you to focus on your email services, okay? So are you a Gmail user, Outlook, do you use 365? There are lots of different email platforms out there, Yahoo, AOL, I know they still exist. My husband has one, yay him. So in this case, when you want to export your contacts, your contact list from your Gmail or from your Outlook or anything like that, we don't have those instructions on this page that you see that I'm showing for you here. But stick with me. I'm going to share my contact information, drop me an email, and I'll get you those instructions really, really quickly, okay? All right, so once you bring in your email services, so by now we would have started with our customers and coaches, then moved over to our custom spreadsheets, and then our email services. Once you bring in your email services, I want you to focus specifically on your LinkedIn connections. LinkedIn. Okay, so the reason that I mentioned LinkedIn at this stage is because LinkedIn is a social media-ish platform, okay, that allows you to actually own your connections. So what that means is that the information associated with that connection belongs to you. an email address, phone number, where the person works, their current title. All of that great information can actually be exported from LinkedIn, and you can import that right into Teamzy. It's a really great source of data, so tap into that if you are connecting with folks through LinkedIn. Okay, so we started with our customers and our coaches, and then we moved on to custom spreadsheets. Then we're gonna go ahead and focus on our email services. Then our LinkedIn connections. Once you brought in all of the other files, okay, and you are satisfied with everything that's in the system, then last but not least, you should focus on any other social media. So Facebook, if you're creating a manual Instagram list, those should come in last. The reason that I recommend that order specifically, okay, is because Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, these guys have to adhere to some of the most extreme security and privacy policies that exist. And with that, they cannot simply release their users' data to you. So you're gonna get a list of first and last names. But this is still great information to have in your master list that is Teamzy, because now you can start to connect periodically with everyone, not just the low-hanging fruit. You know, the people that like and love everything that you post, you know, that's great. Those people should definitely be served, but they shouldn't be the only ones. Okay, so to go through that list one more time, we're gonna do customers and coaches from our Beachbody back office. Then you're gonna go over to your custom spreadsheets. After your custom spreadsheets, I want you to focus on your email services. Once you bring in your email services, you can go ahead and bring in your LinkedIn connections. LinkedIn connections. After LinkedIn, go ahead and bring in your Facebook and any other social media platform list that you'd like to bring into Teamzy. Something that I like to say at this stage is that something you want to consider is that Teamzy has a duplicate filter, okay? It has a duplicate filter. So what Teamzy is doing every time I add a list to my Teamzy is it's searching for duplicates by unique email address. Okay, so if I have someone that signed up with me through one email, but then they use a different email to sign up for LinkedIn, then I may end up with two profiles, okay? You just need to consider the way the duplicate filter is actually working. It's going to look for unique email addresses. If it sees a duplicate, it will skip them and it will not create an additional record. So every time I import a file, Teamzy is scrubbing down duplicates for me on the back end. Alrighty. Let's keep moving. So my next tips for importing have to do with you actually exporting from some of these locations, okay? So your Beachbody back office, you can go ahead and export by the instructions that are in this video, walks you through it completely. What I will mention is Beachbody allows you to export your hierarchy report, or it'll let you export your directly sponsored only. So consider if you want to bring in everyone from your downline or everyone from your upline, or if you want just the people that are, you know, directly sponsored by you who you need to focus on. That's my one tip when you're pulling your information from Beachbody back office. Okay, from there, let's say you've brought in all of the other files, okay, in the order that Jay recommended, and now you're ready to do Facebook. Okie doke. So Facebook is going through some small growing pains, okay? Something to keep in mind, even the big guys do. So what's going on is some of the users are affected and some are not. So if you're thinking to yourself, Jay, I watched the video, I did it step by step, and Facebook never sent me my follow-up email. You are included, okay? What you wanna do is follow the steps that I'm gonna take you through now. So what's going on is a part of Facebook's process previously was to actually send you an email with a link to your full file of all of your Facebook data. But they are starting to skip that process, and what you can do if it's been any more than 1 hour, if you have been waiting any more than 1 hour for your Facebook data or your Facebook archive, then follow these instructions. Head back to your Facebook. In the upper right-hand corner, you're gonna have that little carrot icon. Again, you would have gone through these steps before, so this will look familiar to you. You're gonna come down to the settings section. This is gonna list your general account settings. At the very bottom of this list, you're gonna see download a copy of my Facebook data. Again, you would have gone through this exact process already. This time, because you would have already clicked Start My Archive, the way that you see on my screen now, When you go back to that settings area, you're going to notice it says download my archive. What Facebook has done is they skipped over their own process, they skipped a step, they didn't send you the email, and they just popped the file right in your Facebook. So if you have been waiting any more than 1 hour's time, go back to your Facebook settings and check out that download my archive button. You might see the file drop right into your computer automatically. Okay, so back to Teamzy. That's my one recommendation when you're importing from Facebook. If you're running into any other challenges or you need any more help beyond that, stick with me. I'm going to share my contact info. This final video on this page is basically going to walk you through taking the files, Facebook file and your COO file from Beachbody or a CSV file, and importing that into Teamzy. The one thing that you want to keep in mind anytime you're bringing in a file into a new system is the format that it's in. So in this case, Teamzy accepts Facebook files, COO or your Beachbody back office files, and CSV files, so comma separated values. So these are the most common files when it comes to the most common file formats when it comes to importing or exporting data. So if it's an export from your email or from another CRM service, it's more than likely going to be in that format already. If you're unsure or you're thinking to yourself, Jay, I wouldn't even know how to check a format, not to worry. We built a little filter into this stage so that you can just select the file, you don't have to agonize over it, and it will tell you yay or nay. Okay, so let's go ahead and see what that looks like in real time here. We'll hit choose file and the system will give me a list of my files on my computer. I'm going to choose the file I'd like to import. Teamzy runs that screen and it lets me know, okay, yes, that file can be successfully uploaded. So that's what you're looking for, is that green check mark right on the screen now. It says file uploaded. At that point, you know, okay, that format, I can bring in my file. Before you hit continue, I recommend that you do click on advanced import options. This is going to give you a few choices before you bring the contacts into the system. So when we're at the stage where you are consolidating lists, kind of creating this master list of sorts, pardon me, just a sip of water. Okay, so when you're at the stage where you're creating a master list of sorts, you're going to want to sort of, you might be batching lists. You might have, a list of Facebook friends, and then you might have a list of LinkedIn, and then you might have a customer list or a follow-up list to an event. If you have lists like that, you can actually tag every single person at the import stage so that at one glance, when I look at, all 100 names that came in from this file, I'll know, okay, that person's a Facebook friend, or, oh, they participated in my June challenge group or my August challenge group. So what you can do is you can actually click on where you see tags here and you can just start typing or creating a tag. Tags are identifiers, okay? Just ways that you would be able to look at a name, okay, and say, oh, that person is a Facebook friend, or they were in my challenge group. So let's say this is a list of my Facebook friends. I can go ahead and type in that tag. You can create as many or as few as you need to. So, and you also know that you reserve the right to add tags to individuals once we get them in the system. But this lets you add it to 100 names, 1,000 names, 500 names, whatever you're working with, okay? So Facebook is just an example. It can be challenge group follow-ups. It can be product follow-ups, or if you've got a hot lead list or something along those lines, you can just go ahead and tag those and bring them in the system. Once we get all of the contacts into Teamzy, I will show you how you can access and really maximize on those tags in the system. Alrighty. You can also say this is a full list of prospects, or it's a full list of customers or coaches, okay? You would simply select or highlight the new type, and that would be applied to every single name on that import file. Okay, so we're on to the next step, which is going to be mapping. So Teamzy is now going to put the phone numbers with the phone numbers, email addresses with email addresses, and so on. I will hit continue. The system brings in those names, and even though we have finished the top 3 items for setting up, Teamzy holds my hand and it lets me know, okay, here is the next most important piece of information that Teamzy needs. Okay, so our next step in setup is going to be to rank or prioritize each individual that we bring into Teamzy, okay? So that means you're gonna take a hard look at every prospect, every customer, and every coach, and you're gonna say, okay, these are my 5-star prospects, 5-star customers, 5-star coaches, who, you know what, these are people that I wanna connect with every 30 days. These are my rock stars. So the higher the priority, the more frequent the follow-up. So every priority ranking corresponds to a default follow-up. 5 stars will automatically come up for follow-up every 30 days like clockwork. Without me having to look for them, without me having to pull that list, Teamzy is going to monitor my last points of communication, and it's going to know that, okay, if these folks are 5 stars, they need to be connected with every 30 days, and it's going to serve them up to you on a silver platter. Okay, 4 stars every 60 days like clockwork. 3 stars every 90, 2 stars every 120 days, and then your 1 stars will never show up for follow-up automatically. What I like to say here at this stage is your 1 stars, okay? You can sort of use this as a holding tank. So for any of you that are interested in bringing in members of your downline and your upline, the 1-star ranking is great if you're thinking, you know, I want to save their information on file, but I don't want them to muddy my day-to-day follow-ups, right? Like I don't necessarily need to do a periodic check-in every 30 days with somebody who's 2 levels down my downline or something. So utilize your 1-star as almost like a holding tank. You can access them, you can pull them up by name, but they're not going to come up automatically in your day-to-day follow-ups. Alrighty, so let's take a look at how easy it is to rank in real time. When you are ready to get through to the ranking stage, Teamzy is going to move you through to the easiest page to do that process from. You can do different things a few different ways in Teamzy, okay? But right now, this is the easiest way, especially when you're getting through setup. So for example, we just brought in, okay, together, you watched me import a list that has 23 names on it. How do I know that? When Teamzy redirects me to my rank page, that's gonna be my team section. So I've got a big list or a menu option, to the left of my screen. If I click on team, that brings me to my all category. That's every single person, manually added or imported. Okay, how do you know you're in the all category? It's going to be highlighted here to the right. To the left. Sorry about that. Now, if I want to know, how many people total is that? I've got the word all above my list of names. That gives me the name of the category that I'm looking at. And then if I follow that to the right, I will see a total number of contacts. That might be really faint gray for you guys right now just because I'm sharing my screen. But when you log into your Teamzy, it's just upper right-hand corner of the screen. Okay, so I know I brought in 23 contacts. What I would do now is I would go down my list and basically take a hard look at each person. And I would readjust the ranking. You'll notice that Teamzy has displayed everyone's active rank, which is 3 stars. Teamzy applies the 3-star ranking to every single person that you bring into the system. This is kind of a safety net of sorts, okay? So that even if it takes you some time to get in there and start prioritizing everyone, it's gonna start reminding you to connect with them anyway, just because no one falls through the cracks in Teamzy. Okie doke. So when I'm ready to start ranking, I'll go down that list. Marlo's a 4-star. Rachel, yeah, you were a 2-star. Laura can stay at 3. Some are gonna jump out at you, okay? Some will be easier than others. Please do not agonize over this stage. We recommend here, okay, especially if you're one of those that has one of these, very, very robust databases where you're thinking 1,000 names, 2,000 names, 3,000 names. I want you to take this in bite-sized chunks, okay? So because Teamzy has helped you out and it applied 3-star ranking to everyone, you can go through and just cherry pick the 4 and the 5 stars. The people that really jump out at you, that require more frequent connection. Okay, because they're rock stars and you want to build on that relationship or keep pouring into them because you know that's going to pay off. So what you would do on this page is just go through and cherry pick your 4 and your 5 stars to begin with. The same can be said for anyone who you might be thinking, oh, you know what, Shirley doesn't need to be in my database for one reason or another. If we look here to the right of this contact's ranking, you'll see a little tiny trash can, and when I click on the trash can, it gives me my delete confirmation. If I delete that person, it removes them outright from the database, and I can simply move on to the next name on the list, okay? So as you're going through, like I said, some are gonna be easier than others. Adjust the people that jump out at you. Your database will evolve with you if you're doing this right, okay? If you are pouring into people, if you are building on relationships, they're gonna evolve. People are gonna become better customers, better coaches because of the environment that you are creating. So go ahead, give the time that this exercise, okay, calls for. If you need to, time block in the beginning if you're thinking I need to do 50 names today and then I'll come back to it. You can start ranking and then start connecting with people. You don't have to get through your entire list before you jump into the system. But I do recommend that you try in the beginning to find all of your 4 and your 5 stars so you know where you're getting started. All right, once you've gone through and you've established your 4 and your 5 star rankings, the next section that I would keep an eye on would be your types. So because you're bringing in a Facebook list and a LinkedIn list, basically, any list that doesn't come from Beachbody, you have to tell us what they are to you. Are they a customer? Are they a prospect? Are they a coach? So the easiest way to do that, on your all, okay, or your team page, above the list of names, you have a couple of options. You can enable rank mode. That's where we are right now. That's what's letting you see everyone's active rank. Or you can click on type mode. This is going to let you see everyone's type currently. Are they a prospect? Or, oh, you know what, Rena should be a customer. Becky, you're a coach, customer, customer, customer. Again, you're simply gonna make the change. Teamzy is going to make an automatic save and you can move on to the next task, okay? So that's gonna be how you adjust the types for anyone on your list and how you're going to adjust your ranks. As you're going through setup, I know you're gonna be adding information, updating things, making some tweaks and changes. So with that in mind, let's say I wanted to add something or check on Marlo's profile. Marlo is the first person on my list. I will simply click on his name. You'll notice Marlo's name is highlighted, and I can now see all of Marlo's information to the right. So this becomes his active profile. So what I can do, to the right, I can actually log a connect. That means, have I actually done anything with Marlo? Have I sent him an email? Have I reached out to him by phone, sent him a text, anything like that? Have I tracked any sales? Did I sell him anything? And then if I come down far enough, I'll see his tagline. Oh, great, Marlo's a Facebook friend. That's how those tags are really gonna come into play, okay? They end up being kind of face value identifiers. I see Marlo's name and I also see that he's a Facebook friend, one glance. But you know what, let's say Marlo also joined me for my August challenge group. So I can actually click right in that tagline and I can say, August, oh, that is not August, August challenge group. Okay, that now becomes an active tag. I can add more people to that tag. No matter what, Marlo now has that as an identifier. So, like I said a moment ago, you can add as many or as few tags as you would like, okay? They're gonna be yours to utilize. Some other areas that I can change right in the profile. You may already have this incredible spreadsheet that has your next follow-up date, that has your last point of communication, things like that. If you'd like to update your profiles in Teamzy, you can do so, meaning you can backdate activities. So if you want to go in and put your last point of communication with people so that Teamzy knows exactly when you should be connecting with them next, you can do that by clicking connect. And then I can say, you know what, we spoke about challenge group. Okay, and you know what, I'm going to change the date because this happened 2 days ago. So I can click right above that little details section, I can select the date drop down. And it will let me actually backdate that to Sunday. So now that's gonna be logged in his profile as Sunday. I'll go ahead and select, okay, we spoke by phone, and I'll log that connect. This has now been logged in Marlo's activity feed. So if I were to click, if I were to scroll down below where I see his member type, I'll see details. This will list for me, do I have phone number, email addresses, things like that. If I click on his notes section, that's gonna let me know, have I made any notations about that person? If I click on activity feed, that will let me see, oh great, that was the last point of communication. We spoke about my upcoming challenge group on the 20th. So you can backdate activities. In that same respect, you can also track your next follow-up date. So if I need to follow up with Marlo on Thursday about my challenge group, I can actually write in his profile, do you see where it says follow-up? You can select the little drop down. This will let me say, you know what, I need to follow up with Marlo on Thursday. That now becomes Marlo's profile, next follow-up, and I can just move on to the next item that I need to update. So as you're setting things up, know that you can glance over at these profiles. You can add information as simply as, you know what, oh, I've got Marlo's email address, so let me add that. When I click in a field and I add information, clicking anywhere else on the screen is what saves that information. So you're looking for the success message so that you can move on to your next task. You'll add information that simply. You select the field and add the detail. Now, you'll notice that Teamzy profiles have areas for information like contact-based information, social media links, personal details. Anything that doesn't fit in those fields should go in the notes section of the profile. That's just a quick workaround for you. It allows you to make a quick notation, so I can say gluten deal. The one thing that I'll mention is that your notes section actually needs to be updated. So scroll down and you can hit update. That will save that information to that profile. So as you're going through the list, you can basically just come down, oh, okay, I need to add Laura's phone number. When you click on the person's name, this becomes their active profile. I would scroll down and simply add a phone number. Click anywhere else, it gives me my success message, meaning that I can move on to the next step. All right, so that's going to be sort of the meat of setup, okay? You're gonna be adding all of your information. Keep an eye on the order that I recommended. If you're having any challenges with the import process or anything like that, stay tuned because I will share my contact information with you. All right, now that we've chatted through some of the elements of setup, I wanna head over to the dashboard so we can jump into your power hours. All right, so your dashboard is going to be your Power Hour hub, okay, or your virtual accountability partner. Your dashboard is going to be at one glance, the area that you can go to establish what you need to do on any given day and who you need to do it with. So here's how you read or use your dashboard. When you log in, Teamzy is going to display for you the number of highly productive activities you need to complete for the day, based on that income goal that we set up. So, how many prospects do I need to connect with today? The number below the type is going to be the actual goal. So I know I have 6 left for the day. This is an interactive dashboard which will actually track my progress so that I will know how close or how far I am from meeting my goals at any given time throughout the day. All right, so I know I've got 6 prospects, 4 customers, 3 coaches, but then I also have my invite goal and my additions goal. So what I would do is I would scroll down the page a little bit further to what's known as your Who's Up Next section. So your Who's Up Next section is going to be your action plan, okay? So I now know what I need to do, but this list is going to let me know who I need to do it with and when. How does Teamzy do it, you may ask? Well, it's because of the work that you just did, where you just went through and ranked or prioritized each and every relationship. You told us who you want to spend more of your time, your resources, and your energy on by establishing their priority. So here is how you're going to read these lists. Every single day, Teamzy will arrange for you a list of prospects. It will also arrange a list of customers, a list of coaches, and a list of follow-ups. So my prospect list every day is going to list for me my 5 highest priority prospects that I need to connect with. Pardon me. So that means Eric Johnson, for example, is coming up on my list for connection because I have not reached out to him in 30 days. He's a 5-star. So that's how you want to consider it. If someone's coming up on your list and you're thinking, why are you coming up again? Or, you know what, maybe I'm not reaching out to you frequently enough. You want to consider their priority. A 5-star is going to come up every 30 days like clockwork on this list. So what I would do is I would basically just connect with the person that came up. I know Eric is a 5-star who I haven't connected with recently. So Teamzy has opened up a connect section for me here to the right. So I see Eric's name. So what I could do is basically just jot down the nature of the conversation. If you're sending them a text, if you're sending them an email, whatever the case may be, you can choose to do a copy and paste. That's my process, but you don't have to. Okay, this can be a little synopsis, little details for yourself, because this will be what you reference the next time you need to serve or work with this person. So I can, okay, right from the dashboard without opening up my spreadsheet, without going to any other pages, I can access lots of different details about an individual contact. How can I do that? Above Eric's name here, you'll notice that I have a connect button. That's currently what's highlighted. That would let me jot down what we're connecting about. But you know what? I want to see, have I tracked any activity with Eric in the past? I can click on activity. This would let me see any activity that I would have actually done with Eric. Have I sent him any emails? Have I reached out? So you'll have all of that right from the dashboard. In addition to your activity feed, you also have access to their details section. So if I click on details, I'll be able to see, okay, I've got his email address, I have a phone number, his social media links, and oh, that's right, we're Facebook friends. So this is how those tags are really going to be helpful, because at one glance from my dashboard, if I'm on the go, no matter what the case may be, I have really great information at my fingertips, usable information. For example, Eric is a Facebook friend. Great, I will send him a Facebook message. So I could check his notes section to see if I had any notes in there for Eric, or you know what? I don't think I've actually connected with Eric before. This would be the first connection, so what do I want to say? You have a few options, okay? You can, in fact, sit around and agonize over every word that you send to a lukewarm prospect or, you know, a brand new customer or coach or whatever the case may be. But really, is that reproducible? Are you, as an individual, going to want to do that every single day? Are you going to want to have to sit down and rack your brain and figure out what is a super personal, perfect message for each individual person? That is not reproducible on an individual basis, nor will you be able to teach lots of people that in your team so that they can also be successful in a process or a system. So we recommend leaning into different tools. In this case, we recommend your scripts and dialogues in Teamzy. We have created different scripts and dialogues, kind of starting points for you, so that you're not having to agonize over every single connection that you've got, so that you can, in fact, start 20 conversations in an hour. Okay, let's take a look at how easy that is. If I want to send Eric a Facebook message, I'm just going to click on scripts. Now, you know what? It's going to let me choose how I want to connect with Eric. Do you want to send him a Facebook message, text, email, Insta? You get to choose. I'm sending him a Facebook message. It's going to now list for me all of my scripts that were created for Facebook. So I'll come down to connect number 1. Hi, Eric, just stopping by to say hello. How are you? I hope your day is awesome. Connect number 2. Hi, Eric, it's been a while since I checked in with you. How are you? I hope your day is great. These are really great one-liners, ways to open the door, plant that seed, start to build consistency with people so they know that you're someone that they can depend on, so that they know no matter what, you know what, she committed to this process. She really believed in me and she never gave up. Check out connect number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so we've got the different connects through the stage, no matter where you are, all the way up through follow-up number 10, okay? Because I know it and you know it. The fortune is in the follow-up, but most people do not follow up enough. Many sales close between the 7th and the 10th follow-up, okay? Most sales close between the 7th and the 10th follow-up. How many of us are leaving money on the table? Food for thought. All right, so lean into your scripts and dialogues that are built right into your Teamzy. Let's say I want to send connect number 1 because that's what it is today. So I've got a quick copy option at the bottom of that screen. I can come back over and drop that message in. I do a copy and paste for lots of different reasons. It's easier for me to see. In Facebook, the messenger is tiny. And this lets me personalize it, add my, hey boy, how you doing? You're rocking it out, whatever the case may be, okay? So I'll do another copy. I keep my Facebook side by side so that I can send my messages and just keep moving. It allows me to build momentum. I'll find Eric on my list, send him a message, and I come back over to Teamzy. I will now indicate to Teamzy how I sent that message. Guys, you are creating trends in every single profile so that you can see how people like to connect with you, okay? Marketing 101, you find and serve people where they want to be served. Don't send them emails just because you like emails. Send them texts if they like texts. Send them handwritten note cards if they like handwritten note cards, okay? So we're gonna go ahead and indicate that I sent that through Facebook. And this isn't an invite, I'm just checking in with Eric, so I don't need to check mark this box. And you know what? I'm gonna log that connect. That sent a message to my dashboard that I have connected with one of my prospects, and it's removed Eric from my list of prospects for the day, giving me 5 viable names that I need to focus on, okay, without me getting overwhelmed. It's always gonna refresh interactively, knowing that I've completed one activity, serving me up the next one. All right, so let's say William is the next person up for connection. I would just keep going. This is how you build momentum, okay? You're just gonna keep connecting with people. These conversations will take root over time, and that's where you're gonna come in. But this gives you the opportunity to start to connect with more people. All right, let's say William comes up for connection, and you know what, we're chatting about upcoming challenge group. All right, so, but you know what, Will has to run right now, and I really want to follow up with him tomorrow with all of the details of the challenge group. So we're on the phone, but you know what, don't reach for your Post-it notes, don't grab your external calendar, set your next follow-up in the same action, right here in one fell swoop, okay? So let's say I want to connect with William tomorrow, but William is a 4-star. So if I hit log connect, he's not coming up for 60 days. Again, don't grab your app, your Post-it notes, your Excel spreadsheet, set the follow-up in real time. So is this an invite? Yes, I am inviting Will to take action and join me for my challenge group. It's an invite. What type of invite? Oh, fantastic. I'm so glad you asked, Teamzy. It's a challenge group invite. You're going to be able to pull reports based on this data so you can see how many challenge groups you've sent, how many challenge group invites versus how many event invites. These are really great accountability tools built right in, okay? So I've indicated it's a challenge group invite. I'm not going to hit log connect. I'm going to actually select follow up in the upper right hand corner, and I'm going to tell Teamzy when to bring that person back up. Tomorrow. Now I can log my connect. That sends a message to my dashboard. I've connected with yet another prospect. I have also tracked one of my invites, and I set a follow-up. But where to go? Jay, I need to be able to find all of my follow-ups. What's going on? I want to be confident in the system. Deep breath with me now, okay? Not to worry. In addition to your prospect list, your customer list, your coaches list, you will also have a list of pending follow-ups. So what's awesome about your list of follow-ups is this is going to be arranged for you by urgency. So you're going to see things that are past due versus due today and so on, okay? It's going to arrange for you your 5 upcoming follow-ups. As you get more comfortable with the system, there's going to be a notification built in, okay? So tomorrow when I log in, I'm going to notice there's a little 1 notification above the word follow-ups. That indicates for me, I have follow-ups that need my attention, okay? So that's going to be kind of how you navigate that dashboard in a nutshell. There are lots and lots of features that I want to jump into, but this is the perfect time to open up the floor to questions. Stick with me. I'm going to share my contact information. I'm also going to jump back into Teamzy and share a few more of my favorite features, okay? There should be a Q&A section right or left of your screen, or the chat feature will work if you'd like to send over any questions. For those of you that stuck with me through the whole presentation, thank you so much for being here. I'm going to share my contact information as I take a look at those questions. I'm going to share that information with you now. Okay, so you've got my contact information up on the screen now. Feel free to screenshot that or jot that down. I am going to jump in the Q&A and the chat feature to see if you have any questions. Stick with me. I will get back in there and share some more questions. All right, let's see. Okay, I'm going to pull down that contact information. I will put it back up toward the end of the call, so stick with me. Here we go. okay, question number 1. I tried to bring in my custom Excel spreadsheet, but the fields didn't map to anything in Teamzy and the import didn't work. Okay, so Lauren, in this case, especially with custom spreadsheets, Teamzy, we can't code the system for every single elaborate spreadsheet that might come in with all the different columns. So in that case, Teamzy might need your help. I'm gonna show you what that'll look like. So when you're ready to import your file, you might come to a stage that looks like this. So let me just choose my file and hit continue. Now, for you, Teamzy may be asking for some help with mapping, and it may look a little bit like this, where it gives you a page that has a few red X's on it that lets you know, okay, Teamzy doesn't have this field, okay? In that case, you just wanna tell Teamzy where you wanna find that information, okay? So if for whatever reason, maybe Teamzy was having trouble with an email field, I would just click the drop down and find where it says email, and I would select that. If there isn't a field, if we don't have the exact name of your field, put it in the notes section. That means you can access that information and it's not just gonna go off into no man's land. Any additional questions, if you'd like some help getting that import into the system, ping me and I'd be happy to help. Okay. Let's take a look here. What can I do if I forgot to tag my entire Facebook imported list? Is it possible to go back and do it? That is an awesome question, and yes. So at any stage, if you're thinking, oh, I imported a file, forgot to tag, or forgot to change the ranks, or you know what, it didn't come in right, you can always wipe and import and redo it, okay? To do that, you'll head over to the team page. The upper left-hand corner, you'll have an import dropdown. This is where you would go to select import contacts if you're importing contacts outside of the setup wizard, okay? But you'll also notice in this list you have import contacts. If you come down to import contacts, that's going to list for you every single file that you would have imported into Teamzy. You would simply come over here and select delete this import. Now that data's been removed, I can re-import that and apply my tag. Okie doke. Let's take a look in the chat section. You guys feel free to jump in the Q&A if you do have any more questions, okay? Okay, so Beth wants to know, is there an app for the iPhone? Awesome question, Beth. So, Teamzy does not currently have an app, so you're not going to the App Store, okay? But you can, in fact, access Teamzy on the go from your mobile devices. Here's how you're gonna do so. You're going to go to, if you're an iPhone user, it's usually Safari, whatever your browser of choice, okay? Firefox, AOL, AIM, whatever the case is. Go ahead and open up that browser, and then you're gonna type in what you see on my screen now. So the word app.teamzy.com. So app.teamzy.com. Now, once you've done that, I'm just gonna stop my share really quickly for a second. I'm gonna show you guys what I've done. What I recommend is that you actually, I've saved this, not sure if the glare is gonna allow it. I've saved this on my home screen so that it looks like an app, so that I can actually tap on this and it will load my home screen for me. And it's gonna let me see how many people I need to connect with. So it's gonna load my goals for me. Lets me know how many people I've actually connected with today. Lets me know my customers, my coaches. If I come down farther, I've got who I need to connect with. So I can do all of that on the go. I can add new people on the go. So, short answer, there is not an app, okay? So you're not going to the App Store, but you can access it mobily. You're gonna go to app.teamzy.com. The word app.teamzy.com. So what you see in the URL now. Okay. So that's gonna be how you access the mobile site. If you're thinking to yourself, how do I add that to my home screen, Jay? How do I get that there like a little icon? You're just gonna add, there's a little share option on your device. If you're thinking, I don't know how to do it on my own, reach out to me, send me an email, and I'll send you the step-by-step instructions. Okie doke. Let's see here. So the help phone number, I did share that a moment ago. I will put that back up, okay? So stick with me. What can I do if I forgot to tag my entire Facebook list once I've imported it? So I think we covered that, okay? So like I said, you can always wipe out an import, you can wipe an import and redo it. The one thing I wanna say there, if you have started tracking activities, you know, logging sales and things like that, Teamzy would wipe that if you wipe the import, okay? So if you're just at the beginning stages and you're thinking, oh, darn, I just forgot something, you can wipe that out and re-import. Alrighty, let's take a look here. Thanks so much for being here, Stacy. I appreciate it. I hope it was helpful. Okay, so Brett wants to know, if you wipe a contact list import in order to re-import and add a tag, will you lose all of the activity or convo data? Was I in your head a little bit? Okay. So Brett, yes. If you have started to track activity, if you've done a lot of activity tracking and you're thinking, oh darn, I don't want to lose all of that. A quick tip, okay? Let me just import that file really fast just so that we've got contacts in there. What I recommend that you do actually in that case is that you can export at any given time all of your contact information, and you can also export an activity list. That activity list will be a great frame of reference if you wanted to wipe out everything that you got in Teamzy so that you know, okay, I just need to re-enter these details. So let me import that file and I'll show you how easy it is to export your data. All right, so now that I've got data in Teamzy, if I ever wanted to export it, just so that I know, okay, you know what, I want to recreate this in the system, but I just need to add a tag or something. I'll come over to Team. Upper left-hand corner, I'm going to select the import dropdown and I'm going to come down to export contacts. Once I choose there, it gives me my export option. That's going to be an Excel spreadsheet, okay? Which will also be in the format that's ready to come back into Teamzy. So if you export your data, you can just re-import it back into the system. Your activity list, okay, or a list of every single activity that you've logged in the system is going to be housed in your business section. So along the left-hand side, we've got your business tab. If you scroll down to the bottom, and we will talk about this business page here in a minute, so stick with me if you want to learn more about that. But if you scroll down, you're going to come to your activity report. This will give you an itemized list of every single activity that you've completed with each individual contact. You can hit export here, and this will give you another Excel spreadsheet. Okay, you can go ahead and re-enter those activities, or at least you've got a frame of reference when you're kind of in the stage where you need to bring in or add tags after the fact. Okay, again, any other questions? If you're thinking, you know what, maybe I want to run this specific scenario by Jay, go ahead and reach out to me and I'd be happy to chat with you. Okay, so the import history option. So Brett wants to know on the team page, okay, from the import dropdown, he's noticing import history. So every time that I import a file, Brett, it's going to list them here. So if I imported my customers, then my coaches, then my LinkedIn, then my Facebook, I would have 4 different lists here. And I could just find the one that I wanted to delete specifically, and I could hit delete. Something else that your import history displays for you, if you click on View Results, Teamzy will actually let you know how many duplicates it captured, and it will list them for you in your exceptions list here. Okay, let's see here. Any additional questions in the chat? I think that's everything in the chat, guys. Feel free to jump in the chat if you have more questions than that. Okay, so Carmen wants to know, how can I export to my Beachbody back office? So Carmen, if you're looking to export your contacts from your Beachbody back office, in your setup wizard, so in the upper right-hand corner, if you click that little wheel and then go down to setup wizard, if you hit start, go through the setup wizard, you're going to come to the import page. This first video will actually walk you through the process for exporting from Beachbody back office and importing into Teamzy. Now, another really great source for tutorial videos, getting started, webinars, things like that. Your university tab along the left-hand side of your screen is a really awesome tool for you. You can view FAQs by your network. So we would go over to FAQs for Team Beachbody. And like I said, you'll have access to tutorial videos, previously aired webinars, step-by-step FAQs. If you're more of a DIY guy or gal, feel free to jump in there and educate yourself. Okay, so that's going to be your university tab. That will also, in that university tab, you will find that Beachbody video as well. Okay, so a couple more features. I'm going to jump in and chat with you guys about. If anything spurs to mind, jump in the Q&A or the chat and ask your questions. But something that I want to mention, so at the beginning of all of this, we started by setting an income goal, right? So it's going to be important that we actually track against that income goal so that we know how close or how far we are from meeting those goals, right? That's what makes this such an incredible accountability tool. All right, so to track your income, you're gonna head over to your business tab on the left-hand side. Once you click on business, it's going to, excuse me, it's going to display for you your business statistics. I want to believe that our developer or our designer made it stats here because he knows I can't say that word. So your business stats will list for you on this page. You will have at one glance your goal. So I know my goal is $100,000 for the year. Oops, $100,000 for the year. And above it, it will list for me how much have I actually tracked in income? How much have I made? So within the circle, you'll see the total number that you've made as far as income, and then it will actually fill in your progress, just like the wheels on your dashboard. So anytime you want to add income, you're going to hit the little plus symbol right below the little wheel. Or in the upper right-hand corner, you've got add income. This is going to give you access to an itemized income report, okay? So track your income in your own time, sort of by your preference. If you want to track every single earnings statement you get, do it, okay? If you're thinking, okay, I'm going to track my income quarterly or weekly or monthly, it's going to be by date range, so I can say that I made, you know, $150 between the 8th and the 22nd. As I add that, it becomes a line item in my report, which can be pulled. I can go back and actually view a 2016 income report if I wanted to do some strategic planning or anything like that. Know that this is just another great accountability tool built right in. Okay, so that's going to be how we track our income. Other areas that are important on your business page. It's going to be tracking your total number of customers, as well as your total number of personally sponsored coaches. So as you start to convert people, as you start to type them in the system, these numbers will be automatically updated. If we scroll down this page, we're going to have your growth report, broken down customers versus coaches. Coming down further, your activity report. How many activities are focused on your customers versus your prospects, and so on. Okay. Very last report on that page is going to be your ratios breakdown. How many connects does it take for you to generate a sale? How many sales does it take to convert someone into coach status? And then how many all-time connections have you made in Teamzy? Like I said a minute ago, if you go all the way to the bottom of your business page, you're going to have access to that awesome activity report. That activity report can be pulled, you can just export every single activity you've ever done. Or, you know what, I want to see only the sales that I've done, or only the invites that I've sent. Teamzy has little filters in this report so that I can, I want to see only the invites, for challenge groups. So you can go ahead and apply that filter, export. For my pen and paper guys and gals that are kind of weaning themselves off, okay? This is a great way for you to, have your little checklist, check things off. I understand. I'm that gal that adds things to a checklist simply to see it checked off, okay? So if you'd like to utilize kind of a printed copy, you've got an option to go ahead and always export your activity list in Teamzy. Okay, so that's going to be your business portal, sort of in a nutshell. We talked about your team page and about your dashboard. Know that we're always kind of updating Teamzy based on our users' needs and feedback and what you'd like to see. So anytime we make functionality changes, anytime we're making updates, things like that, you'll get an email update. But if there's something that you want to see changed, if you're thinking, you know what, I like this, I love that, I'd like to see more of this, utilize your feedback button, upper right-hand corner of your Teamzy. It's right built in there. You can always reach out to us directly, and we'd love to hear from you. Last but not least, if you're thinking, I need help, or I have a question, you can always reach out to us, even if you misplaced my contact information. Lower right-hand corner of your Teamzy is your help button. That is an active direct line to our support staff, which means myself and my colleagues. So we'd be happy to help. Please feel free to reach out. We do our best to get back to you in a timely fashion. But if you'd ever like to contact me directly, please feel free to do so. I'm going to go ahead and check the chat and the Q&A feature for any more questions that you might have. Again, I'm really, really grateful for your time. I hope tonight was helpful. If you need anything along the way, I'm your gal. Okay, so you should have my contact information back up on the screen. Thanks so much for being here, Deb. Thanks, Stacy. Thanks, Carmen. I appreciate you guys being here. If you need anything, reach out. I'm just checking the Q&A to see if I missed anything. If I did, please feel free to resubmit your question. Thanks for being here. Hi, Holly. I hope you have a wonderful evening. And like I said, I did record tonight's session. Any of your colleagues, peers, friends that would like to watch, just have them keep an eye out for the email if they were registered. If they were not, have them send me an email and I'd be happy to get it to them. Okay. Am I in your heads or what, guys? Yeah. All right, everybody, that is it for me. Like I said, please reach out to us if you need any assistance, if you have any questions, feedback. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks again. Oh, I have a question before I pop off. Is it possible to import your income? So currently you cannot, but that is something that our development team has their eyes on. So we're kind of working through the most elegant solution for that, just because we do not have a direct connection to your back office. So as soon as we have an option like that, you will see that come down the pipeline, but that's something that's on the docket, okay? I appreciate you being here. Thanks so much for the feedback.